so we can get started. Time is now 11:58. I call this August 30th, 2016 special session to order. Jolly indication, really good. Oh, moving right into roll call. Let me proceed, Blacklash. Blacklash, Rogers here.
Blacklash, right here.
Burn ground, Reno's here. Reno, it's good you like that here. Just one question, you can only hear. Roll on, hot crack.
Heat right now. Goes at 1 more.
Good night, you.
Good luck, Mikey. Mailbearer, Mikey. Both are off to the check. All the way. 13. Well, Jay's here somewhere. He'll be with us shortly. Well, great, you gotta know where he's at. But Vincent is sick, I believe. He's still in the hospital. Paul Spotterhorse has a doctor appointment today. And Bryce called earlier, said he was sick too. So I believe right now at this time we have 13 with us here. Paul Jay's here somewhere. The room, I got honored guests. Legal staff and executive. Again, to review and adoption of the agenda. Item 3, need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Make that motion.
Motion by Carlson goes ahead, second by Tyson Grove. All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? All abstaining? Motion carried.
Excuse me, I have a question of privilege. Leslie, were those LRs ready? Just one was ready?
Well, there's one meeting on here.
Okay, so, okay. Thanks.
Okay. Go ahead, Eric.
Can I explain about the LR for the descendancy?
Later, I think we're done with.
Alright.
Okay, we adopted the agenda. Next on the agenda is new business. The joint action resolution of the Crow Tribal Legislature and the Crow Tribal Executive Branch entitled Resolution Approving Amendments to the Westmoreland Resources Incorporated co-leases to reduce tribal payments in order to maintain the economic viability of the Absaloka mine. At this time, the floor recognizes Bill Watt to read this record.
Thank you, Speaker, members of the body, staff. I'll read the resolution as introduced, and it is entitled "A Resolution Approving Amendments to Westmoreland Resources Inc. Coal Leases to Reduce Tribal Payments in order to maintain the economic viability of the Absaloka mine."
Need a motion to adopt. Motion by Tyson Grobon, second by Harry Burton. Proceed.
And the resolution reads as follows. Whereas the chairman of the executive branch has authority and responsibility pursuant to the enumerated powers in Article 4, Section 2A of the Constitution and bylaws of the Crow Tribe of Indians, the Constitution, to represent the Crow Tribe in negotiations in matters of economic development. In Article 4, Section 2, up to negotiate and approve or prevent any sale, disposition, lease, or encumbrance of tribal lands, interest in lands, or other tribal assets, including buffalo, minerals, gas, and oil, with final approval granted by the legislative branch. And whereas the legislative branch has authority and responsibility pursuant to its powers and duties in Article 5, Section 2B of the Constitution to grant final approval or disapproval of items negotiated by the executive branch of government pertinent to the sale, disposition, lease, or encumbrance of tribal lands, interest in lands, or mineral assets. And whereas the Crow tribe owns extensive coal resources held in trust by the United States of America and located within the reservation, and north of the surface boundary of the Crow Reservation in the Seed area, which coal resources were restored to the Crow Reservation by the 1958 Indian Restoration Act, Public Law 85-420. And whereas Westmoreland Resources Inc., WRI, is a wholly owned subsidiary of Westmoreland Coal Company and currently operates the Absaloka mine in the Seed area pursuant to an amended coal mining lease with the Crow tribe dated November 26, 1974, the Tract 3 lease, and within the surface boundary of the reservation pursuant to a coal mining lease dated February 13, 2004, the South Extension lease. And whereas on March 25, 2013, the Crow tribe entered into another coal lease with WRI for mining the tribe's coal resources located in Tract 1 in the Seed area in order to extend the life of the Absaloka mine, the Tract 1 lease, which coal has not yet been developed, but the Tract 1 lease includes provisions for certain advance royalty payments to the tribe in 2016 and 2017. And whereas the Absaloka mine is the largest single private employer of Crow tribal members on the reservation, the mining jobs there provide high pay rates and good benefits for tribal members and their families. And whereas due to federal environmental regulations and the low price of natural gas as an alternative fuel, the Absaloka mine is under extreme economic pressure in terms of coal prices and demand, and it is critical for the mine to be able to obtain new coal sales contracts in the diminishing market for Northern Powder River Basin coal. And whereas WRI has urgently requested the Crow tribe's assistance in enabling it to effectively compete for new coal sales contracts for 2017 and 2018 by making concessions in the amount of tribal royalty and severance/gross proceeds taxes to be paid to the tribe. And whereas in order to maintain the economic viability of the Absaloka mine and employment of tribal members, the chairman of the executive branch has negotiated with WRI the attached amendments to coal leases between the Crow tribe and Westmoreland Resources Inc., the WRI coal lease amendments, whereby the per ton tribal royalty and severance/gross proceeds taxes otherwise payable on Crow coal produced under the South Extension and Tract 3 leases will be reduced during the period October 1, 2016 through December 31st, 2018, and the advance royalty payable under the Tract 1 lease, payable in 2016 and 2017, will be deferred until 2018 and 2019. And whereas the WRI coal lease amendments provide the opportunity for maintaining the economic viability of the Absaloka mine and continuation of the substantial economic benefits that the Crow tribe has realized from the Absaloka mine since 1974, while providing good paying skilled jobs and other economic development opportunities for the long-term benefit of the Crow tribe and its members. And whereas without the WRI coal lease amendments and the new coal sales contracts that such amendments will facilitate, the Absaloka mine production will likely be closed permanently at the end of 2017, resulting in the permanent loss of tribal revenues from this coal resource and the loss of more than 100 good tribal member jobs. And whereas after approval by the legislature and the executive branches of the Crow tribe, the WRI coal lease amendments may be subject to approval by the Secretary of the Interior or her designee pursuant to the Indian Mineral Development Act of 1982, 25 U.S. Code Section 2101 et cetera, and or other applicable federal law. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Crow Tribal Legislature and the Crow Tribal Executive Branch. Section 1. That the amendments to coal leases between the Crow Tribe and Westmoreland Resources Inc., which is attached to and incorporated by this reference, is hereby granted final approval pursuant to Article 5, Section 2B of the Constitution and bylaws of the Crow Tribe. Section 2, that the chairman of the executive branch is authorized to sign and execute on behalf of the Crow Tribe the above referenced WRI co-lease amendments and such other agreements and documents as are necessary for implementation of the WRI co-lease amendments, and to take such further actions as are necessary to administer the WRI co-leases as so amended. Section 3, that the legislative and executive branches of the Crow Tribe expressly agree that the reductions in tribal payments of the tribal royalties and severance/gross proceeds taxes in the WRI amendments shall be allocated as follows. A, blank percent of the reduction shall be applied to the tribal royalty, which is distributed as per capita payments to tribal members. And B, blank percent of the reduction shall be applied to the tribal severance and gross proceeds taxes, which is paid into the general fund for operation of the tribal government. Section 4, that the executive branch will keep the legislature and/or its designated committees informed on a timely basis of formal notices issued pursuant to the WRI co-lease amendments and of WRI's progress in obtaining new coal sales contracts that will enable the continued operation of the Absaloka mine, provided that any further material amendments to the WRI coal leases shall be subject to final approval by the legislature. Section 5, that in order to enable WRI to effectively compete for new coal sales contracts, the specific terms of the attached WRI coal lease amendments shall be held strictly confidential by the Crow Tribe and its representatives, and the text of such amendments shall not be published or posted in any public place or tribal publication, including on the internet. Section 6, that the final approval granted herein is effective on the date of approval of this resolution and is subject only to such further approvals as are required by federal law.
Thank you. Now have 30 minutes for your presentation.
Thank you, Speaker. The coal lease amendment agreement, we passed out a final clean copy this morning, and that's somewhat changed from the committee version that we were looking at yesterday, and we can discuss those changes. There's also, you'll learn, a substitute JAR that we prepared as a result of the committee meeting. At the appropriate time, you can read those changes. And at this time, with the Speaker's permission, I would ask CPA Clint Sowden to give the sponsor's presentation.
For it, that's all.
Thanks everybody for having me. As you guys remember, back in December, Westmoreland actually came to the village and did a presentation on how the mine was going. And at that time, they requested the tribe take a $1.75 reduction, royalty / tax reduction. When we say royalties, as I'll probably say a few times in here, we're not just talking about per cap, we're talking about royalties and taxes, so it's all one. Westmoreland looks at it as all as royalty payment, so that's why we've been referring to it as royalties, just to make that clear. But basically, there was a few small discussions about it through the first half of 16, and then the discussions with Westmoreland really started to happen at the end of May. And on May 31st, we had a meeting with Westmoreland and Billings. And they basically provided us numbers where in 17, they were projecting in 2017 1.9 million tons of coal, and then in 18, 45,000 tons of coal that they currently had under contract. And they were requesting the tribe take this reduction in order to be able to go out and secure additional coal contracts. So they still wanted the $1.75 reduction, and they wanted it to start July 1st and run all the way through 2018. The chairman countered in that meeting as no reduction in the second half of 16 and then $1.25 for 17 and 18. Westmoreland ran their models and they couldn't find a way to make them unprofitable at that amount. So after spending all day going back and forth, we decided to table it, and Westmoreland came back with $1 reduction in the second half of 16 and then $1.50 for 17 and 18. The tribe responded back and forth, and I think a lot of you guys have this handout. We went through it yesterday too. But basically, through June, we kept countering back and forth, and on June 29th, the chairman finally came to an agreement with Westmoreland to do $1.25 starting October 1st reduction, and then $1.50 for 17 and 18. And now the offer from Westmoreland is in your guys' handout. It's attached to. We had Casey Capper with us, who's an independent coal analyst, and he works for Roland, Pincock, and Marco. And everyone has his report on the coal market and basically why this reduction is necessary to keep the coal mine competitive in the market. Really, what Westmoreland's saying is, right now their cost is about $15.50 to be able to sell the coal to produce it, and they need to get to about $13.50 to be competitive in the market. The other issue that they're having right now is if historically the tribe has sold coal to the Sherco power plant in Minnesota, and right now Sherco's actually going to test burn the Powder River Basin coal to see if they can start actually burning that at the plant instead of the Westmoreland coal, which is very concerning. But back to this letter, I'll read the actual offer to the tribe in case somebody doesn't have it. Dear Chairman, please find the following royalty reduction terms which match your most recent offer provided me yesterday by Melissa. Royalty reduction. 1. Any reduction of royalty payments and all terms below are only effective if Westmoreland secures additional sales contracts for the calendar years 2017 and 2018. The term of the royalty reduction will be from October 1st, 2016 to January 31st, 2018. The amount of the royalty reduction will be as follows. A, $1.25 per ton on all sales from October 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2016 applied to royalties monthly. $1.50 on all sales from January 1st, 2017 to December 31st, 2017 applied to royalties monthly. $1.50 per ton from January 1st, and this should be 2018, to December 31st, 2018 applied to royalties monthly. Effective January 1st, 2017, if the weighted average annual coal price exceeds $15.25 per ton, the royalty reduction is credited 50% of the difference. For example, an average price of $15.75 per ton, 50-cent per ton increase would equate to a 25-cent royalty credit back to the Crow tribe. The 750K advance royalty payments due to the Crow tribe in October 2016 and October 2017 will be deferred until October 2018 and October 2019, respectively. These payments are guaranteed so long as the line is operating at the time the payment is due. Should the Indian coal production tax credit be monetized during the term of this agreement, the royalty reduction will be credited and monetized amount of the ICPTC dollar for dollar of the value of the royalty reduction. The terms above represent Westmoreland's last and final offer. Once proven, we work diligently to secure additional sales while attempting to meet our financial obligations. Please feel free to reach out to me directly if there's anything we can do to help expedite the approval and execution of these terms. Sincerely, Scott Stern. And just a note in there on number 5, or on number 4, the price of coal did bounce back and get back up to the $15.75, which I would be credited for some of that gain in the coal price. But in Casey's analysis, the independent coal analysis, he said it's very unlikely that the price of coal would actually get back up to that level within the next 2 years. But there is something that the price of coal does come back.
Do you have some extra copies of that, Clint?
There's one up there.
Does everybody have this?
put all those copies in.
After this was agreed to, we came over and had a few committee meetings over here. But right before Pearl Fair happened on August 17th, we got another letter from Westmoreland Resources. I'll read this one too. It's contingent termination of Crow Tribal Lands lease dated March 25th, 2013. The Crow Tribal Indians and Westmoreland Resources Incorporated. The movement may concern pursuant to Article 22 of the Tribal Lands Coal Lease dated March 25th, 2013 between the Crow Tribal Indians and Westmoreland Resources Incorporated. WRI hereby gives formal notice of its contingent termination of said coal lease as of the date of this letter. WRI is compliant with its obligations as lessee under the coal lease. WRI intends this notice of contingent termination to be effective 60 days after delivery of this notice, or as of October 17, 2016, after which date the lease will terminate. The WRI will owe no further obligations to the tribal under the coal lease, except as may otherwise be required in Article 22. However, WRI's termination of the coal lease is contingent upon the approval of the resolution approving amendments to Westmoreland Resources Inc. coal leases to reduce tribal payments in order to maintain the economic viability of the Absaloka line, which is currently pending before the tribal legislature and will require approval from the Bureau of Indian Affairs BIA. Should this joint action resolution be approved by both tribal legislature and the BIA, it is WRI's intent that this termination notice is rescinded and the coal lease shall remain in full force and effect. Enclosed, please find a fee of $5 and $0 as required by Article 22. Should you have any questions or wish to discuss the contents of this letter further, please contact the undersigned at this time. Sincerely, Kevin Atkins, CEO, Westmoreland Coal. So basically, they had to send that letter because they had to give 60-day notice in order to terminate that coal lease if they were going to do it. So they're basically terminating the lease unless the tribe agrees to the royalty reduction that we're proposing today. Also yesterday, Bill mentioned it a little bit. We were still at one part in the amendment, and we'll go through it again, where we wanted basically a minimum tons to be sold. And through meetings this morning with Westmoreland, they agreed to do 2.4 million tons in 2017 and 2 million tons in 2018. Our concern is that if we try to agree to this royalty reduction, they only sell the coal that was on the contract for 17, close it around 17, and the tribe would actually end up losing all of it. But this way, the tribe doesn't won't lose money by taking this royalty reduction. Also, yesterday we talked about how it's going to be split out, because the tribe will have to decide if the royalty reduction is approved on how much of it goes to royalties and how much of it will go to the taxes. So, as you guys know, royalties go to per cap and the taxes go to the general fund budget. So, we decided to do an amendment, a partial section in the jar, so that we can come back once the tribe has time to take a look at it and decide how much they're going to grow each, or if they want to that affected, or if you guys feel is best to move forward. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, your presentation. Okay, I guess that concludes our 30-minute presentation. At this time, moving on the agenda. This was delegated to the Natural Resource Committee Chair, Carlson goes ahead. What is your committee's recommendation?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Secretary, and Vice Chair, members of the body, and the guests. Yesterday we had a meeting of a quorum of 7. Yourself, Mr. Speaker, Senator Nomi, Senator Bergeron, Senator Malvern, Senator Grovon, and Secretary Alden. The 7 members. We had the meeting from 1:35 to 3:39. We concluded at 3:39 yesterday. And also this motion or recommendation for approval with amendments was motion made by Senator Bergeron, seconded by Senator Grovon, questioned by Senator Nomi, and the vote was 7 yes, 0 no, 0 abstain for its approval. So the recommendation is for its approval by committee action with amendments.
Thank you. Okay, the floor is now open for debate, questions, comments. Right, for the Scott.
Thank you, Speaker, members of the body, guests, executive. Kind of just wanted to expound on this amendment section. I know on this committee action here for approval. We talked about this section 3 within this this whole resolution on the separating the percentage from the travel royalties per cap, and then on the other one on the travel severance and get gross proceeds taxes. That was the biggest question we had during committee yesterday, and what actionables are left blank right now within the resolution. But those are kind of the biggest questions we asked within there is, what are we going to do? Are we going to cut our per cap? Are we going to cut our budget? So those are questions we asked yesterday, and we came to the conclusion of those will stay blank currently right now within this amendment. I believe, does everyone have the amendment, the copy? I know the ones that were here for the committee meeting, that's the fine if I read this up, if I read this, or do I wait for amendments?
We can wait for the amendments.
Okay, but I just kind of want to inform everyone on this section on that amendment, but we left those blank for a purpose, and that was the biggest discussion yesterday, is do we want to cut the per cap, or we want to cut the budget somewhere is going to have to take a hit, so that was the biggest discussion on yesterday when we kind of agreed. I believe they'll explain more within the amendment section, and you guys will understand once we read this off, so just kind of wanted to explain to the ones that weren't here for committee yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Secretary, and Mr. Vice Chair. I do concur with Secretary Alden's explanation. He was actually the one that brought that up in section 3, down there for be it resolved. It says that the legislative and executive branches of the Code of Tribes especially agree that the reduction in tribal payment for tribal royalty and severance / gross proceeds tax and the WRI amendments shall be allocated. We got subsection A and subsection B. So what we're doing is that we're leaving that out with the amendments to that, so that we can come back later with another JAR and amend that part. So we'll need to follow foolish. Take a lot of committee action for that. So that was really the main concern. But one of the things that we already understand is that, and then I believe those that have been attending some of the meetings, if we don't do this, the mine's going to shut down. We got Stacy Capter, who is the whole expert consultant, and so just like Clinton was saying, we work with Clint about his research on the economy. He's an economist, is what he asked this, and body, so it's negotiations been going back and forth, and so as you see that $1.25, the end of 2016, I get a ratio of that. it's just like right here, a couple more, 3 more months. And then 2017 and 2018, MU, kagaya so, but the section 3, I know that I had amended version, so that we have to read that into the record when we come to amendments, so I just wanted to illustrate you that, section 3 is that would be ready to the amendments when we get there, and then we can vote on this, so this can move forward. And look, there was a lot of good questions, over 2 hours, 4-hour meeting getting through it. So it was a good question by quite a few of the members, but it was the gross proceeds, royalty, and then I always forget the 3 revenues. Severance, yes, sometimes. That yung knowledge ko, should I had it because it will lead to a conclusion and we move forward. So they'll read it into record when we want to bring it back to the legislature on this section 3, the percentages. So it'll be evaluated. So I'm just explaining probably more than what Pat elaborated on. And you just say about it, the way it show up.
So, door's still open. Go ahead, Brandon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, yes, members of the body. My question is, the last meeting we attended with Westmoreland, that per cap wasn't going to be the issue, that we, the government, to my understanding, the government was going to take the hit, not the people. So my debate is, why is it even on the table?
Right. Lord, that's Clint.
It has to be in the agreement for Westmoreland's purposes because they have to know how to, basically when they pay those royalties are paid on a monthly basis, and severance is paid on a quarterly basis, they have to know where to take that reduction on the payments. So they have to have that in there, in the agreement. If the tribe decides that they don't want to try per cap at all, then they just put 0% towards the royalties and 100% towards the taxes, and it's actually those posters.
Good, still at the floor. Okay, go ahead, Pat.
That's why I asked earlier on the amendment. I believe that's going to kind of make it clear for a little bit on. We still got to come back to the table and discuss that. It's going to be our decision on that your question. So I mean, once we get to the amendment section, I think it's going to explain a little more. I don't want to get ahead of myself too right now, because the amendment section explains where we got 30 days to wait or to figure that out between us and the executive branch. So that's going to be our decision between whether it's going to be taken from per cap or the budget. So that, I mean, it's coming in the amendment section. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here. So hopefully, once we get to this amendment, then you guys will understand a little bit more.
Go ahead, Junior.
Thank you, Speaker, members of the body. Can you just read that amendment right now? We're not taking any action on it.
I had Jackie, I know they written it out yesterday, but I had to type it out just so we can pass it out to everyone, so everyone's kind of clear on that.
I mean, at least you know.
Yeah, just gonna type it up, because they had it on handwritten yesterday, but I think Bill had written that, and barely read his tickets here.
Maybe we want to add to that amendment.
Go. Okay, Sean. Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, Secretary. Okay, members of the body. I'm still being close now here. Again, you go, I forget, I'll do code. Again, 1948 Constitution. Absaloka, LA.
Uja, how are you? Politician Gurku, elected official Gurku council really how, now, Uja, how are you? Absal Yotik. Again, Absal get the Chihuahua soldier who Absal get the Chihuahua HO much, you. Duki,
We're not stopping it. Gotta read the amendments.
Gama. Again, the Chihuahua, Stegista.
I disagree.
Let the Chihuahua, Absal go off. Again, let the Chihuahua, Absal go off. Absal, Maka, Shokti, Kiejo, a whole luggage, asking Nawari, whatever. Na, Absal, go off. Change it, very cool. Yeah, I like to also express in the English language, if it's okay with you. Looks like, there's gonna be a reduction in the per capita. And has an old body been informed on this reduction? And if we go $10, $20 times 14, if we go $100 times 14,000 or whatever, have our districts been informed? Have they been notified? Have they been communicated on this issue, on this reduction? One of the thoughts that occurred during the past administrations, during the Colorado administration, when this, when it was doing a renegotiation and all this, there was, at that point in time, there was a thought that initiative, and I think Bill would probably would be aware of that. They thought about taking over the mine, the Coachella government. Because it's a majority of enrolled members are working there, all we have to do is hire an individual at 100,000, 200,000, 150,000 to manage the mine so that the individuals will be supervised to the point where they can produce a revenue. And then we can take advantage of all the tax breaks that Indian tribe can receive. And that, at that time, it was on the table, they were talking about it, they were thinking about it. And we need to discuss options that could be there in 60 days. And if we do not talk about these options, then we're not clear on the options. What could be the options if we do some kind of feasibility right here and discuss all our options? I don't think we've moved in that direction yet. I think that what we're doing is we're reducing the per capita, and we're also reducing the administration. And I have a lot of relatives over there that are also advisors of the executive branch. And have they been notified that there's going to be a reduction? And so, based on this information, when I look at this resolution, it says on section 2, it says that the chairman of the executive branch will authorize and sign and execute on behalf of the we go to number 3, and then it goes to the legislative and executive will agree. So, which is it? Is it 2 or is it 3? Now, they need to all ability. They agree to short the gift of the touches to the local area. They are taking over a solid come. Direct it out, direct it names out here. No, they're up to Dalganka. Nabak was still cool. Agree goodbye with they are. In addition to that, where is Westmoreland? How come they're not sitting at the table expressing? And what are the percentages that they're going to be reducing this by? Are they going to reduce it 100%? Are they going to reduce it 90%? Are they going to reduce it 30%? 5%? How come they're not here communicating this to us if it's a very important issue and it's the future of the Coachella government? Where are they? And how come they're not here?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. I think, yesterday in committee, I brought this very per cap minded, everyone's attention And that's why I brought it out yesterday in the committee meeting, and I brought the same reason you're concerned, I believe. If we touch the per cap, then that's your political cow. So, and we talked about that, and I know it's a very touchy subject, and that's why I brought that. The reason up, the whole purpose of Tyson commented yesterday, he talked about this section 3, I believe you read the amendment, that specifically states that we have to address those issues, and it's gonna be our decision, legislative branch decision with executive. We have to negotiate with them within 30 days to come up with some numbers and those percentages of what we're gonna do. So if you really read that amendment, we're not cutting nothing right now. We're not taking away anything, those percentages, we're gonna have to meet with executive Clinton, we're gonna have to, get down and figure out these numbers and the percentages and what we're gonna do. I believe that's what that amendment says right there. I know I was looking for typing, I guess it was, within this red line version right here. So you guys, you read that, like I said, I don't think it says anything about us cutting the cap right now. I brought that point out yesterday that, hey, let's sit down and we really gotta think about what we're talking about here. People's per cap here, so. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to answer a few questions, the speaker, secretary, vice chair. I know that, one comment that we always reiterate over and over, we gotta attend these committee meetings, we gotta attend these negotiations. Number one, we're not negotiators. Whatever is negotiated according to the Constitution, if they win the powers, they negotiate, but they open the door for us to go and sit there so that we are informed of what's going on. And I believe the two of us that run that. But it's up to you guys who are the elected. If you're not there, then we bring it to the committee. Whatever is negotiated, according to the protocol and process, comes to the committee through the secretary of this house. And that protocol has already been done, but we've been invited to these meetings. Yes, we're taking the reductions of $1.25 and also $1.50 and not $1.50 in 2018, 2017. Okay, for us to all understand, we gotta learn, some of you don't understand the budget, and I just don't understand all of it, but how it's all put together, but 24 million did it for the 2016 budget, but now we're taking another hit because of the coal. There's going to be a proposal, 21 million proposal that's going to be forthcoming because of this. There's no way around it. And that was during the negotiations. Those were the questions that some had asked. If we don't, and the letter that Clint was talking about was that either no royalties, if you want no royalties, if you shut it down, you don't do this, you're going to lose all of the jobs. And you're talking about all them votes and all you're shutting down the mine within 60 days. So that was loud and clear. And then also the 24 million, 2016, the proposed 21 million. And then I asked Clint, if we don't do any of this, what is our budget going to look like? And I believe that you said somewhere in the range of 16 million, right? He always stood in a $16 million general fund budget for the income. So, that's how I looked at it, but we already taken a hit of, what, 6 million or so? Of this proposal. If we don't do it, we don't get nothing. So you're going to go with either 21 million or 16 million is what we're looking at. And I already had this again, and I want to say this to all of you guys. We got to do our jobs. Bob put it here again, and you all hate that call. Why is that? Because I go and tell them. I go and inform the fire people. And then you all have you done that? And so I can say that because I let them know this is what's coming. Those numbers could add onto them, it's not all logical much. And make, so, you know, that's just the job, our duty. So I'm gonna leave it with that.
Okay. Oh, Tyson. Repeat speaker, secretary with his body, yes, yeah, I'm just gonna, say like it is, like the Paul Spudler was said, need to come to the committee meeting. All the questions that were asked, like, were asked yesterday. That's why we spent 3 hours here yesterday, hashing it all out. And, it's just like a rerun of yesterday. All the questions that were being asked, we got them answered yesterday. We told you that we got it ready for the floor today. So that's one comment I got there. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay, we're, thank you, Speaker, members of the House, legislature, everyone. I'm just gonna express that, if we are in a nation building perspective and approach, if there is this type of, I guess, where the bottom has fell out of the coal market, and we're facing these kinds of issues, then I know that, Vice Chairman Dave Wilson would agree to this since, went to school at the University of Montana. We would need to take a look at a feasibility, and we can finish a feasibility within the next 2 weeks. We need to take a look at what our options are. What are they gonna negotiate? What can they negotiate down to? Are they gonna have a last minute, session? In addition to that, our districts are not informed on this. Have the legislature, each and every one of us, have we communicated and had an official legislative information provided to our districts? We haven't moved in that direction. This is our major revenue on the Croatian reservation. And was it even discussed to inform the public on this? And in committee, I'm sorry I didn't make it yesterday, but just like you say, that we haven't communicated to our districts. And why? Because it wasn't recommended. It wasn't, a motion wasn't made to inform, like we did the housing code. I think that, if we could do within the next 2 weeks, inform our districts on this agreement, on what's happening to their per capita and what's happening to their administrative revenue on a severance. People need to know. This needs to be in the newspaper. This needs to be in the briefs. We need to communicate this. And have these options been discussed and looked at, talked about, initiated? Has motions been made? Are we just rolling with the flow and accepting what Westmoreland is doing? And the thing is, I take it as a individual of the legislature, I take it as a disrespect that Westmoreland representatives aren't here to express this issue and concern. I went to Billings and that meeting was canceled. So the thing is, they need to be at the table, they need to be here to discuss this. We're hearing this hearsay, third hand, and that's what needs to be done for the legislature. Are they respecting this body? Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body, visiting guests. We've had quite a few meetings in Billings, regarding this, and we've gone over it. They told us the reasons why, and basically, if we don't do this, the code, we're going to go to final recommendation 2017. So it's basically, just very simply put, you're basically taking a reduction, and part of a little bit of your money goes away, or else if you don't do anything about it, and if you vote against it or whatever, your money goes bye-bye forever, never gonna come back. And that's basically, it's a simple fact, and I don't know how many times, they expressed that to us. We even hired, coal economist, real smart son of a gun, Casey Capture from Denver, PhD, and he looked at it, you know, he's a co-expert, and he looked at it and he basically said, you know, this is what's gonna happen. He basically, agreed, you know, and it's because, you know, basically the market it's bad right now, and it's just simple economics, you know, like, we talked about Circle 1, 2, and 3 over in Minneapolis. They burn Circle 1 and 2, they burn about 40% coal, and then, Circle number 3, they burn 100% coal. And because the cost of mining is higher, it's, you know, different reasons, stripping ratio, distance from the pit to the haul, everything, it's higher versus, Powder River coal, it's better quality coal, but there's a cost because of the rail, you know, and all these things are taken into consideration. And basically Westmoreland just couldn't compete with Powder River because, like, Clint said, we sent a test train over there to test burn their coal, and they've never ever done that. They've never done that before, so that kind of concerns Westmoreland. And, you know, I agree with you on the royalty. You know, I don't think that the individual members should take a hit, you know, because that's, like you said, the chip all, you know, that's everybody. But, you know, just to kind of explain to you the process that, the executive branch, we have been very open door policy. We've sent out invitations every time we did meet with Westmoreland to at least let you know what's going on. You know, there's a role. The executive branch negotiates, the legislative branch gives final approval, but, you know, really, if you're kept in the dark and didn't know anything that was going on until like right now, you know, that would be a concern. But yet we've extended out invitations, and my right, representative goes ahead, and, you know, being a natural resources, chairman, he was at, if not all of them, a lot of the meetings that we did have, and we've seen the negotiation process, and, you know, we're not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes, you know what I mean? This is just facts, economics, and, you know, but bottom line is, if we don't do this, we're gonna take, you know, business is gonna go on as usual until, 2017, final reclamation, and coal mines and go bye-bye forever. And we're not gonna get any type of revenue from coal, and that's, you know, like I said, you know, over $20 million a year, a lot of money. So, you know, just weigh it out, and, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, go ahead, Frank.
Alright, thank you, Speaker. Yes, just kind of want to make a comment that some of us are products of the coal mine here. Dolly, Dana, Tubby, we all work there and kind of know how it goes. If you look at the paper for 2018, how much they contracted for, that's 45,000 tons. Sounds like a lot, but it's not. That's 4 trains. And we're going from doing 7, 8 trains a week, maybe 5 on a slow day, a slow week, to doing 4 a year. So you gotta look at, they're not making up numbers, it's the reality of it. And I worked at the coal mine as an operator, I loaded the trains, and every tonnage that comes through is accounted for, and they keep track of it to the T, so they know how much they can make, how much they can pay royalties, the percentages. There's a lot to this, and, you know, something is better than zero. If it goes in, like TJ stated before, if it goes in reclamation mode, there's no coming back from that. And so they hashed it out for a long time. This isn't brand new, it's something they've been meeting on for a long time, and it's kind of been in the works. There's coal companies that are going bankrupt right now. There's a lot of factors to this, and instead of hashing it out for
more to come, we got 60 days from the 17th. Is when they delivered this, 60 days to go into reclamation mode, and we can't meet on it and keep going through it. They're gonna go into reclamation mode, and that's gonna be a 0. There's no coming back from that, so I think we just kind of need to go with the committee's recommendations and vote on this reduction. We can just chop it up on who takes the hit after, agree on this. We got 60 days, so that's not very long. It's October 17th, it's right there, so I think we should just hash out whether it goes to the cap, whether it goes to government at a later date. We just need to get this done. Thanks.
Thank you. Go ahead, John.
Right, got a constituent that wants to say something.
What do you guys comments to it?
Oh, Speaker, Chairman, members of the body, and guests. There was some, talk here, just, what I heard earlier, that we should put this in the paper, shaft feasibility, and those are all good ideas, but, I don't think we need to put it in the paper because it's no secret where the coal market's at. It's in the paper every day. And as far as a feasibility study, we have a firm here, Runge, Peacock, and Arco. This was dated July 28th. Over a month ago, a feasibility study was given out. And at that time, when we had this meeting, this was given to everyone that was in attendance. I believe there was only 2 gentlemen here from the legislative branch at that meeting. No disrespect. I know you have a lot of, you have things going on in your respective lives and communities and stuff. But as it was stated by Senator Robert, this is a very important issue. Very important issue. Coal is our bread and butter, what I heard. If it's that important, make it to those meetings. If it's that important, make it to those negotiations when the executive branch opens the door. A feasibility study came out with everything on it that you need to know. Where the market's at, where it is, where we're at, and where it's going to be. Now, some talk about exploration of options was brought up. It's plain and simple. I know Dana stated 2017, and that's what the current contracts as stands. But we have a letter here, the August 17th letter, that's a notice to the tribe for 60 days according to the contract. Now this letter, upon that 60 days, that's contingent on track 1. Now, we don't get an additional 1.5 million added to the contracts by exclusive agreement with Sherco that we have right now. That's the opportunity we have. If there is a vote of no on this, then you've just voted to shut down your mine. Simple as that. Not going to say it anymore. Simple as that in a nutshell. You vote no, you vote shut down your mine. You voted no, you vote no put cap for everyone. This August 17th letter states in there, upon 60 days, this notice is in full effect right now. It'll go in full effect once there's a no vote on this. So that means that right now, the track 3 extension will shut down, go into reclamation mode. Track 1, it's not even a possibility at that moment. Once the coal mine goes into reclamation mode, there's no turning back. Point of no return at that point. And you gotta understand, I know to us, coal is a big thing to us. It's a big part of our budget, it's a big part of our life. But to the rest of the world, we're not even a drop to the drop in the bucket. They'll replace our tonnage in a heartbeat. And right now, Sherco has already upgraded their power plant to burn PRB coal, Powder River Basin coal, where it used to be 100% coal. Right there should tell you, they're getting ready. They're getting ready to establish their options so that way they don't paint themselves in the corner. Now, if they have to go PRB 100%, they'll have to go PRB 100%. So, keep that in mind. It's always been in the paper. Bighorn County News reports on all the layoffs. Bighorn County News is reporting on all the shortfalls here with our money, with our program money. That's coal money. As a member of the coal board, we don't have as much money as we used to satisfy these areas that really need it because of the lack of coal production in the state of Montana. So we need to look at ways of how we're going to survive. As a leader, we have to sit here and make decisions. As a leader, we have to set aside our life so we can sit in on these meetings and have an understanding of what is coming, what is going on. As a leader, when we set aside our life, we go to these meetings, we miss out on ball games, we miss out on birthdays, we miss out on a lot of these things. But heck, that's what we signed up for. And the scrutiny that you're going to go through. This is a thankless job. Nobody pats you on the back and tell you that you're doing a good job. But they'll tell you that you're doing a bad job just as quick as possible. But right now, a yes vote, you're saying yes to per cap. A yes vote, you're saying yes to the coal mine, stay open. A no vote, you have just shut your mind down. Simple as that. No.
So CJ, like that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the body. Yes, just kind of reiterate a little bit of Frank there, CJ's comments. I mean, we carved out this section 3. I mean, we can approve this resolution, and we can sit down. Like I'm gonna say it again. We'll sit down with the executive, and then we'll figure out the numbers. The numbers wise, we'll come back. We got till October 1st to do that. We'll sit down and figure out those numbers, but at least the mines, it gives those what, 90 pro travel members that are, their families, at least a peace of mind that their jobs still okay. It's still the mine's gonna not be shut down. We're not gonna go into reclamation mode with this 60-day notice. So I just want to reiterate that we still got till October 1st to figure out the numbers of the executive, but at least with a yes vote, we're at least letting those miners know that their job's okay.
Okay, this time we were just going round and round here, so I'm gonna close debate and move on to the amendments. I believe that there is an amendment. Florian has got all of them to look into it, or is it difficult?
Quorum?
Well, without voting right now, we can still read it into the record. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
It's only the vote part that we need to call. Okay, we have the amendment. Go ahead, Florian has. Bill want to read the amendment into the record?
Mr. Speaker, if I may, I also suggest the agreement itself, we read that into the record yesterday, and there were changes to 2 sections of that in the clean version that you have. And would you be glad to read those changes as well?
Yes.
Speaker, Secretary, Vice Chairman, members of the body, the main change, other than a few typos, is, as has been discussed, the addition of section 3, or the replacement of section 3 in the joint action resolution. And the replacement of section 3 reads as follows: that the legislative and executive branches of the Crow tribe will expressly agree upon the allocation of the reductions in tribal payments between tribal loyalty per capita distribution and severance/those proceeds taxes for tribal general fund. Such agreement shall be set forth in an amendment to this joint action resolution to be enacted and approved on or before October 1, 2016, and promptly communicated to WRI and the Bureau of Indian Affairs. That is the amendment to the JAR. In the agreement itself, which follows exactly what Clint read this morning in Mr. Stern's letter from June of this year. The two sections changed were section 3, the effective event, which now reads that this agreement shall only be effective if Westmoreland secures within 60 days of final BIA approval of this agreement coal sales contracts for 2017 of at least 2.4 million tons at a weighted average price for the additional sales of no less than $15.50 per ton, and additional sales contracts for 2018 deliveries of at least 2.0 million tons at a weighted average price for the additional sales of no less than $13.50 per ton. So just by way of explanation, in this agreement the reductions don't occur unless Westmoreland is able to sell a coal at 2.4 million tons at a minimum next year and 2 million tons at a minimum in 2017. Otherwise, all they have in the contract is 1.9 million next year and essentially zero, as Frank was describing, in 2017. The second change is to section 4C on page 3, and this is a conforming change to go along with the amendment to the JAR. And it now reads: the credit will be allocated with tribal payments as follows: blank percent royalties to be determined, blank percent severance tax to be determined, blank percent gross proceeds tax to be determined. The allocation of the credit between the tribal royalties, severance, and gross proceeds taxes shall be determined by further agreement of the co-tribal legislative and executive branches, and set forth in the amended joint action resolution to be enacted and approved on or before October 1, 2016, and promptly communicated to Westmoreland and the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Thank you, Speaker. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we don't have a quorum to make that vote on that, to make a motion or a vote on this. So the time is now 1:06. Go ahead, Jim.
Rules just spent a moment.
We'll break for lunch at 1:06, and resume at 2. So at this time, we'll break for lunch at 1:06, resume at 2 p.m., and okay, recess for lunch. Grow up. Yeah, you grow up over there.
I know you cut your daughter with the
He was here.
I can wait.
Holy, what time?
I know, that's that.
Oh, just saw that. Why did he become a senator and he wants to do this? You heard the full-time factor agree to disagree. You have to say yes or no. I'm not.